So welcome back everyone, not only to the people in the room, but to all the people following online as well. It's time for the final pitching session of this brokerage event. And this time we're focusing on proposals with a strong focus on infectious diseases, imaging, and some other topics. And again, all the pitchers will have 5 minutes to present each. I will enforce the time limit strictly, and I will be letting you know when you have 30 seconds left. We're going to start with pitches in the imaging field, and I would like to invite Anna Maria Shismadia from GE Healthcare to come and give 2 pitches that they are presenting today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm going to pitch 2 different ideas, but somehow they will have a lot of common parts, so sorry for this. But let's start with the first one. The acronym name of the project is INSIGHT, Integration of Whole Body PET Imaging and Liquid Biopsy for Early Cancer Detection and Better Outcomes through Integrated Healthcare. As the title explains that this project would focus on the early detection of different cancers, disease, because everybody knows that the late-stage cancer detection significantly reduces the survival rate, and many cancers remain asymptomatic until during the early stage, until the symptoms appear. Sometimes it's too late to proceed the proper treatment, and this situation will reduce the sufficiency of the treatment. Screening programs vary in effectiveness and accessibility very diverse, and sometimes the mammography, CT, and MRI often lack the sensitivity to identify a small malignant region in the human body. But the PET-CT, the total body PET-CT, has a capability to identify small region, small cancer presence in the human body with high sensitivity. And the technology requires less dose compared to the others. The liquid biopsy, especially utilizing the ctDNA identification, is a very well-known tool these days. It can be very helpful to identify the smallest cancer cells present in the body. But there is no proper workflow to combine these 2 different information, the total body PET-CT imaging to the liquid biopsies result, which is a main demand which can be a main demand from the healthcare system side. On the other hand, there is no standardized integration process of these different data sets, and the data silos can reduce the success of this results combination to reduce provide the clear vision about the patient's state in early stage of the cancer. What we would like to do through this kind of project, we identified 6 different main pillars which can be utilized. The first would be the total body PET-CT usage for initiate the screening procedure. This would help the project will focus on certain different cancer area, like the breast, lung, colorectal cancer, and neuroendocrine tumors. We would like to enhance the tumor characterization through this kind of project. The metabolic insight also can be evaluated by the instrument. Combining the liquid biopsy evaluation, identifying ctDNA in early stage of the cancer presence would be a key component to the project. And then if the cancer identified, the next step would be the molecular profiling using different evaluation to identify the cancer type, and maybe the DNA or the molecular profiling will help to the clinicians to specify the tumor, and combining with the imaging, we can follow up. We can take a follow-up on the tumor presence and in the human body. We would like to ensure the capability and the scalability of the technology. So we are going to invite clinicians, academic partners, and medtech companies and pharma company to join the consortia. But we accept to creating a new screening procedure which can be implemented to the guidelines to ensure this approach can be beneficial to everyone. And we would like to strengthen the clinical decision support system using AI-driven data handling and supporting the healthcare professionals. As I mentioned, what we are looking for, medtech company, pharma company, and digital company, what we have AI tools and AI-boosted healthcare application. Thank you.
So now for your second one.
The acronym name of this project, INTERACT, Accurate Tissue Characterization with Deep Silicon Photon Counting CT for precision cardiac and oncology diagnostics. There are some major challenges regarding the conventional CT imaging. Limited accuracy in tissue characterization would be the first what I need to mention, which the quality of these images sometimes lack of sensitivity, which initiate unnecessary repeat testing in certain cases. And overuse, and sometimes it will lead to overuse invasive procedures. Slow diagnostic timelines also can create a huge burden on the healthcare system, lack of proper diagnosis, and the patient will suffer during the whole process without any proper feedback from the clinicians. Using photon counting CT, it's a good opportunity to increase the quality of the imaging. With this, we hope that we can reduce the unnecessary scanning procedure, and we can reduce the reliance on the other applications, other devices like MRI or CT scans. We will use two different areas to prove the efficiency of this new technology. One of them would be the cardiac imaging, the other would be the oncology field. Again, we accept that in cardiology field, we can provide a new benefit using the instrument identifying coronary plaques, including non-calcified and lipid components. The technology will support for the imaging capability to ensure the dynamic evaluation, provides a quantitative plaque burden and composition analysis as well. And beyond the anatomical assessment, the instrument, we would like to facilitating functional evaluation as well. From the oncology field, side, what we would like to do is the soft tissue lesion assessment. We think that the instrument will be able to differentiate to improve the differentiation between the malignant and benign tissue area to accelerate the proper diagnosis in time. The project would focus on the implementation of the instrument. We would like to establish new data set to improve the imaging data sets to the different care area. We would like to use AI application to accelerate the clinical decision process for oncology and cardiology as well. We would like to create a patient-friendly reports procedure The major goal would that the photon counting CT available to more communities than right now. Regarding the impact and outcomes, you can see we accept a lot, but to emphasizing the major ones, from the patient perspective, we truly believe that with the new technology we can avoid the unnecessary invasive procedures. We can faster the accurate diagnosis and treatment in time. We can reduce the diagnostic burden on the patient. From clinicians' point of view, the proper or the high-quality image will support the diagnostic accuracy. They will be able to use proper images to improve the risk stratification. And the longitudinal monitoring also would be part of the project, which can support the clinicians on the patient following. Radiology institution cost effectiveness must be highlighted by me. And what we are looking for pharma companies for sure, but I need to emphasize the digital companies because high-performance computing would be the key to solve this kind of issue. Would be the key part of the project.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Anna Maria. And next up, we have another picture with two pictures to present. Burcu Gümüşçü from Philips. Welcome.
Hello, good afternoon. I think I got the best spot. I'm Burcu, I'm a project coordinator at Philips, and today I'm really glad to share two projects, two initiatives that we have. Both projects are patient-centric, and they are also overlapping with the discussions in the previous panel session, in which they talk about the diversity in healthcare professionals and how underrepresented they are. So I'm hoping to give you a perspective with these two proposals, ideas, that we are also covering that point. The first one is called Simplify, and it is about streamlining medical imaging processes by the use of AI. And it comes with this unique user-centric innovation. So if we look at the healthcare system that we see in oncology patients, that we are losing our loved ones due to the missed early diagnosis. And it is not only because of that, but also missed disease progression and relapse detection. And unfortunately, not everyone have the same equal access to the healthcare equipment. And this is leading to a rising demand in oncology patients and therefore the radiology units of hospitals. And also it is building up pressure in clinicians' and especially radiologists' shoulders. And it is now they have to perform 40% more on top of what they are already doing, and therefore it leads up to burnouts. And hospitals are also feeling this pressure because now they have the staffing, but it is not efficient enough, and they also have these AI tools to help them, but they are not well integrated, so it is not helping neither. And Simplify is exactly here to solve these problems. Here, the idea of the project is to overcome fragmented imaging workflows by developing integrated evidence-based diagnostic ecosystem that enables earlier diagnosis, precise disease progression, and relapse detection. Of course, that ends up with reduced clinician burnout. For that, what we are going to do is first to build a workflow integration, and then we are going to build a model-based AI assistant for clinicians, and therefore we are going to use it for precision diagnosis, for early diagnosis and precise disease monitoring. And therefore, we can implement this in science and adoption thanks to the co-development of this system via our users. Simplify is creating a clinically validated, interoperable, and AI-powered diagnostic ecosystem. And that's only possible with hand-in-hand collaboration between hospitals, academia, and health industry. Our clinical partners are defining the clinical needs and ensuring the patient-centric design. They are providing real-world validation within multicentric clinical trials, and they are also evaluating impact. Of course, they are integrating the frameworks, including MDR, GDPR, and EU AI Act. And while our industry partners are also co-developing and integrating AI into clinical workflows, and they are providing infrastructure. And of course, they are also ensuring this integration into the frameworks. So the impact of Simplify AI is fourfold. For patients, that means improved early detection and treatment decision is available. And this is immediately releasing the burden on the shoulders of clinicians, because we have now integrated interoperable workflows across the clinical and digital tools. And also, continuing this chain, there is a huge relief in the healthcare system. Why? Because now we regain the efficiency lost, and also now it turns out to save costs in healthcare system. And for EU, that means that we are going to strengthen our leadership in leading safe and efficient digital health. The expertise that we have installed in the consortium involve clinical partners, AI software development, interoperability, hospital IT integration, and technical validation. We are looking for partners in regulatory science, platform hosting and integration, pharma, focusing on oncology, and patient organizations. We are happy to discuss this further with you today and later tomorrow. You are welcome to visit me and one of my colleagues here. The second project that I like to talk about is called Central. And in this one, as Central Consortia, we are committed to bring advanced spectral photon counting X-ray technology to hospitals and clinics for equitable access for everyone. Well, the same story repeats, right? So at Philips, we are passionate about improving lives. And if you look at the patient profiles in oncology, stroke, or cardiovascular diseases, what we see is that we might need to say goodbye to our loved ones too early. And this is unfortunately happening because of the missed early diagnosis. Of course, the clinicians want to do better, but for that, they need sharper images. This is what we keep hearing from our partners. And hospitals, they just struggle to afford these high-end scanners. And with the recent EU regulations, lower radiation doses are now needed for the safety of both patients and hospital staff. So this all need to be addressed. Actually, photon counting is a great technology waiting up in the corner that it is now mature and ready to be scaled up. And as the Central Consortium, we are here to solve this problem. Why? Because photon counting brings us sharper images at low radiation doses. That's why we can do earlier disease detection for way lower cost and more personalized care for these patient groups that I mentioned. We are considering to submit this proposal to topic 2. As Central, our vision is to develop a low-cost photon counting detector thanks to the new materials implemented. And we are also going to improve the design of the detector to make premium quality images at much lower radiation doses. You can see the pictures, the comparison pictures of standard CT and photon counting CT of a 4 millimeter diameter stent. And this is already promising what the technology can bring to the market. We are going to use this technology for risk stratification, prediction of disease prediction, assessment of treatment response, with a primary focus on progressing precision medicine in stroke, cardiovascular diseases, and cancer. We are going to start building and validating the full prototype and then demonstrate the feasibility in this disease areas through our valued partners. The impact of Central is also fourfold. We are focusing on the patients, talking about cardiovascular disease, stroke and cancer patients. We are aiming for an ambitious up to 25% more timely treatments and up to 40% more safer scans. What I mean here is lower the radiation doses and lower uses of contrast agents. For healthcare providers, it is coming with a significant up to 20% of cost savings. And for our partners, this is a unique opportunity to collaborate on this breakthrough that can transform medical imaging for radiation utilizing modalities. And that means that we are aiming for doubling the hospital access to advanced CT within the 5 years after the project termination. We have a great consortium. Already is a hand-in-hand collaboration between industry, academia, and clinics. So we have Philips Germany, Luxium Solutions, and Thermo Fisher already installed. They are members of COSIR and MedTech. And we also have academic partners joining in from TU Delft and FPK from Italy. And we are looking for pharma partners. It can be about contrast agents for direct delivery imaging and validation, clinical partners, industry partners focusing on AI software and hardware, professional associations, and health economics. I'm really glad to talk about this project with you later today or tomorrow. Please come find me, and thank you a lot for your attention.
Thank you. You can go with that. Thank you very much. And next, I would like to invite Saverio Gravina from the IRCCS to give a presentation.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Saverio Gravina from Policlinico Gemelli in Rome, and I'm very excited here to present ADMIRE, our advanced integrated medical imaging and radiation oncology patient experience proposal. So, although the advancement in research and medicine, you know that today current oncology workflow are still fragmented. We have radiology, systemic therapy units, laboratory units, radiotherapy units that often work as a silos. Current models do not in real time integrate imaging in systemic therapy response data into an adaptive radiotherapy workflow. And the causes are a lot: data interoperability, system integration that is lacking, also the way in which spaces and sometimes clinical workflow are designed. And this is not possible today, because today a patient can also wait over 5 weeks to start cancer treatment after diagnosis. And this is not possible in particular for frail, pediatric patients, elderly people, for anyone at least. So we would like to overcome this challenging, and our goals are, we can say, simple, but really, really ambitious. So first of all, we would like to minimize the time to therapy, integrating adaptive radiotherapy workflow and having imaging as the center of the entire workflow. Advanced imaging that can be integrated in systemic therapies response data, creating an, we can say, completely new paradigm of adaptive radiotherapy workflow in this, so that we can design and we can better tailor combination therapies between systemic therapies and radiation oncology, having in mind, of course, the patient, we can say, at the center of the entire workflow. So in ADMIRE, we will also take into account what the patient would like to have, so to co-design with patients the entire, we can say, project workflow. Of course, this is best suitable for topic 2 of IHI called 12, because this fragmented care pathway that should be overcome and should be solved is the center of the topic. So we are aiming to this, and we are pretty aligned with also some really an innovative European initiative in the European BT Cancer Plan portfolio. And so that's our mission. We would like achieving Admire to produce tangible results. So first of all, a shorter time from diagnosis treatment, from weeks, we can say, to hours. Improve tumor controls and optimize dose refinements in the combining therapies. And also from a clinical perspective, we would like to have a faster decision-making process, avoiding a lot of hours of tumor board meetings, okay? And improving the patient experience, creating, we can say, a very high highway for patients. And Admire will produce a lot of impacts for everyone, for patients, of course, but also for healthcare providers and industries, because in this way they can also optimize the way in which they can produce and sell, we can say, also medicine and new innovative solutions. At the center now, as is, we have, of course, Gemelli Hospital. This is one of the biggest hospitals in Italy. It's our mission in radiotherapy workflow to conduct this holistic view of the oncology care. Together with us is Siemens Healthineers, that I would like to thank you, because it's the industrial leader of Admire, and with Variant Technology we can create a very good project, and Bracco for contrast agent optimization in MRI workflow. We scout pharma companies, industrial companies, and other healthcare providers, as well as patient boards, patient association. And so I would like to thanks a lot, and we can discuss in these next sessions. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And last in our kind of imaging cluster, I would like to invite Jan-Mark Verlinden of Health Talk to give his pitch.
Thank you for the introduction. Excited to be here. Hope you're still able to consume any more and absorb any more information after 30, 35 pitches. Let's start with the first one. First slide. Not working yet. Oh, can we go one back, please? Yeah, first slide. I'm representing 4 companies. I'm the founder of 4 companies. The first one is MedRecord. We provided the electronic health record system, which is fully certified according to ISO and to NEN. In the Netherlands, we're one of the personal health environments, so we're collecting your personal health information from all connected 8,400 healthcare institutes. We have a lifestyle intervention program. We call it COACHI. It's for any metabolic diseases. And lastly, with Health Talk, we're providing a bit of an AI shell around the electronic health record system, and we record the talk between the psychiatrist and the patient, a 1-hour talk. And we provide completely automated reporting on top of that. Now, for today, we wanted to focus on the collaboration with Amsterdam Medical Center about severe depression. In Europe, about 40 million people are suffering from that. And imagine you want to do something to yourself. You really have mental issues, and you cannot move on anymore. Your life sort of stops there. And it could end up with a fatal ending. In the Netherlands, you have one major issue, because you have to wait for help for 9 months. The waiting list is 9 months. That's a major challenge, of course. But secondly, if you go into treatment, the finding the right medication is only effective in 40% of the cases, and this is a process of trial and error. So the psychiatrist will provide you something and see if it's going to work. This is almost similar to having your car broken. You know it's something in the engine, and the garage is starting to replace the tires to see if it helps at some point, and if it doesn't, it's going to change the doors maybe. It's pretty similar. What we are proposing is to use an MRI scanner This is not new, right? So this is based on previous research. And with the MRI scanner, you know exactly what medication to provide. So this would be a huge improvement in the entire process. Again, not new. So this is, there's a lot of research done by Professor Reneman already, and we would like to continue with that for the new proposal that we have here. I'm going quickly through the slides to make it a bit easier for you. This is really a good slide. I'm going to spend a few minutes on it, a few seconds on it. Somebody told me at some point, always use a slide that really nobody understands, and this is one of them. Shows a few nice pictures of an MRI scanner, and I can assure you it's really difficult what is on there. So the next slides are about the normal topics that we have in here, why IHI, and so forward. But I would like to focus on my last slide already. I would like to discuss, when I came here, I wanted to see what happens in IHI. I would like to merge the proposal with maybe a larger one, because you need large industry, you need the pharmacy inside. So we learned this morning that you have to be smart in here. But during the day, I saw that 40 partners already applied and wanted to collaborate. So that's going to be a bit challenging. I would like to discuss how we have 11 research projects running. I think we know what we're doing. We are coordinating 4 of them, so that's pretty okay with us. We have the poster in the first room at the left. I would like to discuss any collaboration, maybe the merging with other proposals. And after that is dinner, and I think that's where all the business is going to happen. Thanks a lot. Happy to discuss.
Thank you. And just a reminder that if you want to have another look at that slide, and indeed all the slides, they are already, I think, on the event platform, and they will all be on the event platform and the IHI website very soon. We're moving now to a cluster of pitches with an infectious disease component, and I would like to welcome to the stage Laurent Lebel from Sanofi, who's going to talk about RespiWatch.
So good afternoon. So my name is Laurent Lebel, so I'm not Cédric Mahé. He couldn't make it today. So I'm representing him on his behalf, and I will be presenting RespiWatch EU. So what are we trying to solve in the RespiWatch? We know that real-time cross-border health threat assessment in EU is a priority, but its implementation is somehow difficult. It will structurally lead to significant challenges, such as agility, multi-country coordination, interface with private contributors, overlap with member state mandates, but also there are currently no platform at European level to evaluate countermeasures in case of pandemics. And lastly, we've seen a US disinvestment in surveillance worldwide, and that will most probably impact Europe capability in terms of countermeasure design. So our approach to solve the problem, we know that technological developments recently have made it possible to collect and combine health data much quicker and at a much larger scale than it was possible in the past. This has a huge potential to use this data together with AI and advanced analytics in surveillance and signal detection. So this project aims to develop an EU cross-border real-time respiratory pathogen surveillance platform that can be used as a worm-based evaluation platform for pandemic and seasonal countermeasure. So we wouldn't start from scratch. It also relies on previous projects, previous proof of concepts, such as ILO's IHSN and IMI Drive. And you'll see the link in this presentation later for reference. So RespiWatch, again, our approach in the diagram. So you see the surveillance platform in the middle. And this platform will be fed by routinely generated data, such as GP software, labs, or hospitals data. but also with Sentinel sites that will be generating new data to fill those gaps. And those will go into a cross-border dashboard with weekly integration, so hence the real-time data. So for the sake of time, I will skip this slide. Our expected outcomes and impact on RespiWatch. So we should allow to identify early outbreaks and take swift actions by leveraging AI, digital and new data sources to track in real time the respiratory syndromes cross-border. We should be able also to scale up and improve pathogen sequencing to optimize countermeasure performance and align ambitions and define rules of engagements between health authorities, EU agencies, academics, and industry on seasonal and pandemic vaccines countermeasure benefit risk assessment. And lastly, we will equip Europe or EU with real-time surveillance and vaccine evaluation platform to prepare for the next pandemic. So what we, expertise and resources, what we have, okay, it is work in progress. So we have 8 vaccine companies and 1 diagnostic companies working towards bringing about 25 million euros worth of in-kind contributions. Our expertise include mainly epidemiology, data science, modeling, cross-country coordination, and agile methodology. We also have currently discussions with EU institutions, public partners, and SMEs who will hopefully fill the gaps for these projects. So what we are looking for is additional real-time, meaning 1 week lag max, of EU data providers, such as hospital networks, lab networks, ambulatory care software developers, but also AI and IT experts with a specific focus on surveillance and infectious disease epidemiology. This is just additional information for reference on it. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. And next up, we have Graham Summers from GSK.
Thank you, Catherine. So I'm Graham Summers from GSK, and I'm here representing my colleagues from Tres Cantos, who are focused on global health. So our project is titled EU Antiviral Threats right now. I would say at this point it's very much a draft proposal, and we're more than happy to talk to people who think they might have a contribution or could make the project better. So please reach out to me after this presentation during the cocktail time. So the world is warming. We know the world is warming. Climatic events are happening on a more regular basis, and as the world warms, Europe is warming, and as Europe warms, is the movement of vectors into Europe that are carrying diseases that are not usually manifest in Europe. And now we're in a situation where some diseases that have been restricted to warmer climates are now becoming endemic in Europe. So this project that we're proposing here is to understand better and to kickstart drug discovery activities in antiviral threats for vector-borne diseases as a result of climate change. At the moment, we've chosen 3 diseases to focus on: Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever, which is brought in by ticks or carried by ticks, and those ticks are moving into Europe. Dengue, which is now seen to be endemic in Europe, carried by mosquitoes, and particularly the tiger. And Nipah, which isn't necessarily a big threat to Europe right now, but it's actually 50% fatal disease. So it's something that we feel we should be focusing on. It's carried by bats. So we've got ticks, mosquitoes, and bats as case samples, as case studies for antivirals. We think this is a topic 1 proposal, so we will put it in for topic 1. Effectively, the biggest point here is to kickstart antiviral therapies for some fairly nasty bugs where there are no existing vaccines or therapies, and increase the preparedness of the EU against climate change. So what we see at the moment is a 5-pillar project with pillar 1 focusing on early stage drug discovery activities, target identification and screening for molecules for Crimean Congo. And pillar 2 and pillar 3 potentially translational work for Nipah and dengue, which there are more advanced assets in the portfolio, whereas Crimean Congo for us certainly is very early stages. And what we think we need, or what the project needs, is actually a better understanding of the epidemiology of the disease, the way the vectors are moving into Europe, and how the diseases are spreading throughout Europe and spreading throughout animals and being transferred to people. So I think there was a paper I read recently where CCHF is present in 2% of cows in the south of France. So if it's in cows, then it's, you know, what does that cycle look like as being spread to people? So that's the 4 pillars, and then we've suggesting some sort of AI modelling to bring all that together. So AI modelling for not only the early stage, but also the late stage understanding of the vectors and how they bring in the diseases into Europe. So is it an IHI project? We think so. Certainly as GSK we can bring the drug discovery and development expertise, but we need, these bugs are pretty nasty, so we need some critical infrastructure. So we need BSL-4 labs to be able to look at some of these viral diseases. And we're certainly interested in those that can help us do that, develop some diagnostics, and also in those tools to monitor risk. We don't need to do surveillance, ECDC does that, and I'll show you a slide at the end of it. But we need to understand how the diseases are moving through Europe and the risk, and then how we treat them when they eventually come in. I won't read that through, you can read that from the slide, but effectively we're looking to develop models, targets, and effectively kickstart drug discovery, ending up with a pipeline of promising molecules and a better understanding of the threats to EU for diseases where there are currently no effective treatments. So what we have, so GSK we have, we're talking to Evotec and some other public partners, Karolinska, Irenia, DNDi. We have access to BSL-4. But if you are in the business and you have drug discovery programs, or you're developing diagnostics, or you have expertise in that modelling of the way the pathogens are moving into Europe, or AI, please contact us. And I think that's my last slide. I won't go through that, but this is effectively the distribution of ticks and mosquitoes, the red being where they're present in Europe.
Okay. Thank you very much. If you could go for So next up we have Gibran Horemheb Rubio Quintanares from the Paul Ehrlich Institute, who also has 2 pitches. So you have 5 minutes for each one.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gibran Horemheb Rubio Quintanares, and I'm come from the Paul Ehrlich Institute. So I'm here to present to you how to unravel the vital contribution to human health. What is the problem? The problem is that we have a neglected knowledge on how is the vital contribution to our health. And we have encountered during our life many, many viruses. These will be, of course, for the objective 1 and 4. And the need that we want to address is the critical need for surveillance system. Wait, this is wrong. Yes, but the presentation is not the one that I sent. Sorry. Because this one, so the title doesn't fit the rest of the presentation.
Okay.
So
Just maybe if you go to the, I don't know what you think at the tech deck, to the people at the back, maybe if you go there and have a look with them, and maybe we move to the next people, would that be okay?
Yep.
Just talk,
Sure.
I'm just, if I can get some feedback from the...
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so if you go to the back of the room, they will help you. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. So in that case, I would like to invite, if he's ready, do you have the presentation of Jonathan Jones? If we can... yeah, brilliant. Okay, so Jonathan Jones, you're up slightly earlier for the Center for Process Innovation. So if you give your presentation, and then we'll come back to Gibran as soon as he's ready, and if the tech deck lets me know, then we'll slot him in when we can. So, Jonathan, over to you.
So
and if you can restart the clock as well, because otherwise he only has 3 minutes, which is not fair. So
I can try. Just waiting for the clock to reset.
Yeah, if we can have the clock back on 5 minutes. Brilliant, thank you. Okay, off you go.
So I'll just jump straight in. So I guess I'm not going to dwell too much on AMR, because everyone's very well aware of the issue of AMR in not just in Europe, but globally. But what I want to focus on today is that fragmented sort of relationship between diagnostics and therapeutics. So how can we better build a framework of diagnosing novel pathogens and how they interlink with therapeutics, to try and create a form of precedent for taking novel diagnostics and therapeutics through to market, to clinic. So I think there's a bit of stigma that novel modalities aren't quite pushing through to clinical sort of need. So how can we create some sort of leverage to say we can actually take these novel modalities, these novel diagnostic tools, and bring them to fruition? So this aligns with S2 of the IHI strategic sort of initiatives. And we at CPI play a role in sort of linking these novel modalities from discovery through to commercialization, which we're quite well versed in the UK. And we feel we've got real value in supporting European companies, SMEs, academics, and different organizations. So what do I mean by taking diagnostics and therapeutics through that discovery pathway? So we feel like there are novel diagnostic tools which could be applied to different sort of pathogens, which could link to new modalities. How do we take those diagnostic tools and scale them up and commercialize them? How do they link into defined therapeutics? So phage therapeutics, RNA, mAbs, bacterial vaccines. How do we create a more stratified, personalized approach to resolving AMR challenges? There's obviously a process development, CMC, regulatory angle to all of this, which is quite a big chunk, but I'll try to summarize that in one sort of node. But taking these modalities from phage, from mAbs to recombinant proteins, the vaccines, these are all distinct processes with their own sort of challenges. So how do we create a precedent for taking these processes through to clinic? So preclinical phase 1, then hopefully at some point to phase 2, phase 3. And then, I've touched on the regulatory side of things, but fundamentally getting them to patients to clinical trials. It's creating some sort of action that people can see in the public, so the public sort of awareness that these new modalities can replace antibiotics and the burden on healthcare systems. In terms of collaboration needs, people with novel sort of approaches to diagnostics and therapeutics. We're not per se saying we've got a consortia ready to go, but we think this is very much a challenge that industry is facing. So whether that's through a new consortia we build today, or it's leveraging existing consortia to bolt onto that in terms of resolving AMR as a greater challenge, then that's all food for thought that we think is worth a conversation and see where that gets to. And in terms of expected outcomes, there's obviously a very obvious public health need. So how do we better integrate diagnostics and therapeutics to bring them to market? As you can see on that little diagram on the right, that's where CPI sits. So we are partly government funded from UK government. Our role is to support UK SMEs and academics translate those novel discovery and early stage technologies and translate them to commercialization. So that our role we see is facilitating that sort of advancement through your TRL levels. So in terms of applying that to Europe, how do we then expand that and bring a lot of consortia together to resolve a very global challenge? So that's all I had. Just to say, we've got a poster outside the tea room on the first floor of the buffet room. So feel free to come by, have a conversation. I won't be here tomorrow, but my colleague Edwin will be. So we can talk through either AMR or talk about our sort of capabilities more generally and how we could be that translational partner for a European grant funding project. And that's my contact details. If you want to contact me on the portal, on the platform, feel free to reach out. If you want to speak to my colleague at the poster, feel free to do it that way as well. And that's pretty much me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, and thanks for being so ready to jump up slightly earlier than you expected. Next up, it's Renate Koenig from the Paul-Ehrlich Institute, who has a project called Viral in Flame. Oops. Hopefully. Everything okay there?
Didn't expect that, but all right. Can I skip the first slide, please?
Sorry.
Hi, my name is Renate Koenig. I'm a principal investigator at the Paul-Ehrlich Institute, which is the regulatory authority for biomedicine and vaccines in Germany. And I'm happy, and I hope you're happy to propose Viral in Flame, and I hope I can convince you to join our proposal with the aim to unmask viral triggers for chronic inflammation. So chronic inflammation and autoinflammatory and neuroinflammatory diseases, and also at the crossroads of autoimmunity, plays a massive growing burden on European healthcare. But the major significant challenges, what we think, is that the initial causes remain elusive, and therefore treatments are limited. Therefore, we would like to propose the following objectives. So we would like to bridge this causal knowledge gap. So there is growing and compelling evidences that viral triggers may be responsible for the initiation and also the perpetuation of chronic inflammation. And both exogenous viruses, but also reactivated endogenous viral elements. So we think an understanding which of these viral triggers, and maybe also a pattern of viruses together with genomic background, may dysregulate the innate immune system, and that this is very critical to understand. Secondly, we would like to overcome the clinical precision deficit. So the knowledge about the viral etiology and also the downstream inflammatory pathways are important, and this will help also clinicians to have tools for early detection, patient stratification, as well as therapeutic interventions. And therefore, we think this integrated understanding is the essential foundation for developing precise biomarkers and targeted therapies. So the heart of our approach will be this four-pronged approach to decode viral drivers of chronic inflammation. So we would use basically the history of cover the history of viral infection by a technology which is called VIRSCAN, a serological profiling platform that can retrospectively reconstruct a complete virome of exposure history. We've also established viral metagenomics, so that will cover the current virome that is going on in patient samples, and viral transcriptomics to define active viral replication dynamics. Also, specific sequencing techniques can be used to enable the analysis of transposable element expression. So one of the key results will be causal network modeling, linking specific viral triggers or viral specific viruses together with genomics for early detection to dysregulated innate immune pathways. This will lead to a panel of biomarkers as well as to a prioritized list of novel therapeutic targets. So we think this synergistic collaboration will be useful, so that's why it's a project suitable for IHI. And the outcome will be the causal network models, which will change the paradigm for finding of biomarkers and new therapeutic interventions. What is really important is that our expertise lies in innate immunity, virology, viral metagenomics, but also we developed a bioinformatic pipeline as well as the artificial intelligence component to identify novel viruses, unexpected viruses. But we are seeking partners with that have clinical centers with large cohorts of patients, as well as pharma biotech with proven expertise in drug development, biomarker validation, and clinical trial design. As well as we are looking forward for partners in academic research groups and small tech providers. Our poster is right outside this room in the hallway, and we are happy to talk further later. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another perfectly timed pitch there. And now I'd like to invite Katrina Thor Andersen from the Allen Institute for Immunology to the stage.
Okay. Hi, and thank you very much for having us here. So my name is Katrina Thor Andersen, and I'm a consultant to the Allen Institute of Immunology, and we're based in Seattle, Washington, and obviously we need partners that are able to bring significant in-kind for us to actually fit this project into the IHI framework. We did read the guidelines. So what are we really trying to do here? So we are trying to address a really critical knowledge gap, and we see this as a topic 1 project. So basically, we don't understand how the immune responses to infections and vaccines vary across age, different populations and genetic background and sex. So why does this matter? Because of the aging population, one size doesn't fit all, and we can't predict or optimize without actually understanding what drives the innate immunity. So bottom line, we're trying to decode the universal and population-specific features of protective immunity to create effective, basically equitable vaccines and health interventions for our rapidly aging and increasingly vulnerable global population. So as I said, DECODE will contribute to better understanding of determinants of immune health and will be fundamental in developing future vaccine constructs that really are designed and takes into consideration the needs of special populations. And we think this fits very well into the European agenda, and especially because there are so many promising organizations in Europe that undertakes vaccine research. So our approach is at the Allen Institute, as some of you might have guessed, closely associated to the estate of Microsoft founder or co-founder Paul Allen. So obviously we do a lot of high-tech platforms. We have a lot of cutting-edge and scalable multi-omics technology to generate the understanding of the protective immune response, and we'll do to infection and vaccinations, and we'll do that at single-cell resolution across more than 50 different pathogens, and adults ranging from 20 to 80 years of age worldwide. And we'll basically plan to move beyond baselining and really going into the functional immune cell dynamics, building novel foundational models to predict an individual's immune response to any pathogen or vaccination across the globe. So why do we think this is suitable for IHI? We alluded to the Allen Institute as a basic science institution. So we really see the need to collaborate across the ecosystem, understanding what are the use cases from industry, and how do we actually design a program that is really going to be meaningful, and the outcomes will be readily taken up by the next partners in the ecosystem. So we invite for co-shaping by vaccine, pharma, in vitro diagnostic industry partners to help us select the best use cases and really figure out how we also access diverse clinical samples that will make this a really strong data set. And obviously, the Allen Institute is about open science, so that also makes it very suitable and to include that in the pre-competitive space of IHI. So obviously, we want to develop the world's most comprehensive map of immune responses. And really, by doing this, we want to develop, really enable precision vaccine designs and immune modulating therapies, improving health equity and disease prevention. So where we are right now, we're basically where we have all we have a massive track record of generating really high quality data sets, and including some novel multi-omics technology. And we have access to biorepositories. So as it says on the slide, we're looking for scientific partners that will help us co-shape the strategy, study design, and that can potentially give us access to samples that will further increase diversity, and computational resources, high-performance cloud computing, and AI machine learning capabilities. And I'm basically here on behalf of our scientific leads, Pete Skeen and Claire Gustafsson. You have their contact details in the slides, so thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you. And now I would like to invite Gibran back onto the stage to give his presentations.
So now it's fixed. Let's try again.
Can we see the slides here? Sorry, we don't see the slides yet. Okay, I think they should be coming. We can see the slides on the monitor here at the front.
Okay, so the idea is how to unravel the viral contribution to the human health. And as I said, the problem is that every encounter that we have with viruses will give us a scar or even improve our health, but we don't know what is really happening there. So this is in line with the IHI objective number 1. And the unmet need that we want to pursue it is solving the inability that we have so far to predict and prevent chronic diseases and also other infectious diseases, because we don't know the whole history. We don't know what the viruses are doing to ourselves. For that, we have viral influence research on unseen symbiosis. This is the solution that we propose. And this is integration basically of 3 different systems. So the first one is to detect previous infection, is, as Renata said, the virus scan. With this, we can track the whole history of infections from one person, at least the viral history of infections. And then we want to study which of those are still in the body, so the actual virome, and from those, which ones are really actively replicating, so which ones are still having impact on us. And for that is the transcriptomics. This is our workflow, and we have, as Renata said, an own developed pipeline to detect known but also unknown viruses. And all these we want to integrate with other partners to have clinical records and also immunological files, tests in the persons, and genetic background to analyze with these federate databases and try to find patterns with deep learning and artificial intelligence to see how this history of viruses are influencing different type of diseases. Why is suitable for the IHI? Because we need to integrate all the different sites, so clinical sites that will provide the samples, regulators, agency, that we are one of those, of course, validate biological mechanisms by the public sector and the industry for 2 things, mainly at the beginning to guide us which diseases are important to track on, and secondly, to develop the products to make final innovations that really help the patient. So the outcomes and impact, we want to establish this platform for the broad use in the research field, but also that will not give only the scientific impact, giving us the knowledge foundation, but also we will ensure a real life solution, so really innovation, because clinical sites, academia, industry, and regulators will be integrated from the beginning. This will strengthen the competitiveness from Europe, and for the patients, that is the most important, we will be able to develop proper solutions from diagnostics, so biomarkers to detect the probability, so the prone to develop some diseases, Maybe prevention, if we found 1 or 2 different species of viruses that are responsible, we can think in preventive measures, prophylactic, and also treatments or therapy. So currently we have knowledge, of course, and we are integrated by some clinical sites already, also the regulation part, but bioinformatics, virology, infectious diseases, and host pathogen interaction. What we are looking for is other partners in the data analysis, of course, who could also test our hypothesis in real models. That's why the mechanistic systems, and the industry partners to direct us or to make us focus on what is important for the burden of health in Europe, and also funding, by the way. So with that, I want to thank you.
Thank you. So now on to the second pitch.
Now I see that, but not here.
Okay,
no.
it's coming.
Okay.
It's there.
This is the Bloodsphere. It's a similar project in a way that we use the similar technology, but for different purpose. So Bloodsphere is an easy-to-use and interpret early pathogen detection system. What is the main problem here? Our public health warning system. We don't have really a proper one that could detect on real-time novel pathogens or even the ones that are unexpected. So this goes in line with the objective 1 and 4. And the unmet need that we try to address is the need for a surveillance system that could be not only reliable, but also accessible, that could deliver clear, interpretable data, because the main problem is how to interpret it, and also a communication that could be quick enough to make the response. This is based only in the Bloodsphere system. That is one part of what I presented before. This is a metagenomic system, so we want to modify the surveillance that we are doing by PCR that goes to a specific pathogen that we are expecting and so on, or by antibodies, to really metagenomics, to find everything that is there. Our system have the capability that increase the sensitivity a lot, similar to a PCR with a reduced cost. And with our pipelines, we are able to detect not only the known viruses, but also the unknown viruses. And this is not only for humans, this is really One Health approach, because we can detect any virus that could infect vertebrates. Our project is divided in 2 phases. The first phase is to put this system that is already working and proven by us to give the capacitation to national-wide reference centers for high throughput analysis, but also to develop this device. We have in our consortium already the company that developed this device, and we just need to integrate with our workflow that will make the metagenomic automatically, so we can forget about complicated workflows, specialized personnel, and so on, and to transform our pipelines in a web-based analysis system that everyone could upload, even without using our automatic system or our workflow, upload the FASTQ data, and it will come automatically the list of viruses that we can find in a sample in a very precise way, and without letting to the clinician to have to screen 100 viruses, because we have established a pre-filter system that would help with that. Also to develop the intercommunication for real-time transfer data, a dashboard that everyone can access for early warnings and integrate with the actual reporting systems, and also to report for WHO, ECDC, and WHAO. Our project is suitable, of course, because we need the integration of government, industry, and health providers. And also, as I said, this could be used at the beginning for epidemiological surveillance, but once the automatic system is fully developed, it could go to diagnostic. So our outcomes and impact is to develop this automatic device that gives real-time early warnings that will help to fit this objective of 717 for the WHO, 7 days to detect, 1 day to communicate, 7 days to react. We think that we can even make it shorter with this type of thing. And it is to ensure that this goes to a final users. We co-develop with the end users, so with academia, industry, and regulators. We focus in the usability and adoption with the automation of the workflow, and we have a clear pathway to the market already put it in place. So this will strengthen the EU competitiveness, and for the patients, and not only for patients, but for population in general, will help to prevent future pandemics and the closure of economics and everything that that happened with COVID. So our expertise, already, but here also in the consortium is integrated people and companies that are experts in microfluidics and this type of reagents that we need, but we look for other partners in the same field because we think that many heads will think better how to develop that. With that, I want to thank you very much for your attention. We have the poster, as Renata said, and I'm going to be here around for any collaboration that anyone wants to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gibran, and thank you also to the tech team for shuffling the presentations around so quickly. So we are moving now onto a cluster of pitches that didn't really fall into the clusters we'd made. So first up, I would like to invite Mariam Bayoumi from KUL University, so I guess KU Leuven, who's talking about human niches on chip.
I'm just checking. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for staying till the very last session. I am Mariam Bayoumi, presenting today the biomimetics team at KU Leuven University. And as you know, academia is a kind of living in a space full of ideas that still need to be or wait to be implemented to and have the real impact. And we hope that our technology, which is called niche on chip, which is kind of organ on chip, but in a very precise way, that can be a part of the next generation platform, like a preclinical platform. The challenge that we address is simple, but is very fundamental, because we think that till now we rely on a preclinical platform that doesn't really replicate the human precise biology. With like cell-cell interaction, all these fundamental biological things that we learned, it is not yet applied on the preclinical platform we have. And this poor translation of the preclinical data, we think that the need now for a reliable human precise based model for early disease detection and also for therapeutic response. Here it comes our approach, and mimic chip in our technology that we are developing in the team. That what we want is really to have a human tissue on chip that capture the cellular and modular complexity of human biology disease. Using the micro-engineered platform, microfluidic, and this very specific cells, and also having the genetic or the environmental metabolic that shapes this disease and biology. Combining, of course, this very specified model with a microfluidic biofabrication and also AI-based data analysis. We saw that this platform can deliver a new mechanistic insight into disease determinants and also can offer scalable, because actually this microfluidic chip can be scalable. So by having this, we can define or having standardized protocols or methodology for a model validation for preclinical platform. And for this kind of project, we also were thinking, are these suitable for the IHI? And we believe that this kind of project is essential for the translation because it's really bridge the fundamental academic discovery with the industrial scale-up and regulatory readiness. And also, it is enable early regulatory dialogue and valorization strategy for clinical and industrial adoption. And like talking about organ on chip, it's still not validated yet for many preclinical trials. So I think also this project can build a sustainable European ecosystem for validating organ on chip technology. About the impact and the outcome of the project, we think that the validated niche-on-chip platform with integrated biosensing and AI drive can actually accelerate the drug discovery and can like really for the cost and for also the time. So we hope that we can have a standardized protocol for validation and support regulatory qualification with FDA and EMA. And the final thing that expertise and resources. So what we have is actually the state of the art and for the state of the art for the infrastructure for chip design. And what we are looking for is the pharma and the biotech that actually in the process of drug screening, drug validation, and yeah, many thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. And we could go off that side. Thank you. And then next up we have Mark Gontsaric from the Center of Excellence in Sustainable Pharmaceutical Engineering and Manufacturing.
Thank you.
You may need to raise the microphone slightly.
Hi everyone, my name is Mark Gontsaric. I'm a project manager at CESPE. We are an interfaculty initiative at the Ghent University in Belgium. We specialize in sustainable pharmaceutical engineering and manufacturing. I represent today a proposal from a developing consortium where we've aligned three public research organizations, UGent, RCP, and CPI, together with two pharmaceutical companies, Roche and UCB. Our core competences relevant for this proposal are of drug substance and drug product development. So we go from designing drug products to optimizing manufacturing processes to then a material characterization of the final product. We are also connected with equipment manufacturers and our local university hospitals. Something to mention is most of these partners we're already collaborating with on the Farmico project, which CESPE is also coordinating. We aim to address the topic 3 of the IHI Call 12, and well, the unmet public needs that we have identified, that we have discussed within the consortium are here on the slides, mainly revolving around poor adherence to therapies, their complexity, and also high burden on the healthcare givers when treating populations suffering from chronic diseases specifically. So they are usually longer in treatment, and a lot of these patients suffer from comorbidities, so requiring usually multi-drug combinations. Here also are included patients that suffer from dysphagia, so difficulty swallowing, and by inclusion also pediatric and geriatric populations. So what we've come to realize is that there's a lack of understanding on what drives the acceptability of treatments specifically for these patient populations, and that there's a large need to simplify treatments for these patients. When we're talking about also these populations with their peculiar physiology, we also becomes relevant is personalization of dosages for these populations. And as soon as we start talking about, well, tuning and specializing treatments for smaller populations, of course we run into issues with well, availability of these of medicine. So you run into economic and regulatory issues producing and releasing smaller batches of drugs. We, as a group of pharmaceutical manufacturing innovators, first and foremost, we're interested in developing, further developing and improving select technologies, formulation and drug delivery technologies that can result in improved, well, simplified and improve, but more acceptable treatments. Well, we're talking about solving technical issues with designing and producing on relevant timescales these technologies. At the same time, we also want to integrate these technologies into the healthcare pathway, which involves, of course, improving the decision-making. When and how do we use these treatments? And at the same time, monitoring the needs of the patients, their preferences throughout the treatment, and in turn tuning these treatments in real time. Once we start talking about it, this of course has to come with the guarantees of, well, once we start changing the dosage or changing the formulation, this of course has to come with guarantees in safety and efficacy. So this we also aim to address with then streamlined quality and regulatory approvals. 5 minutes is a short time, so I skip a few slides and get straight to the point. So we are still looking for more partners. I've mentioned some use cases, some technologies that we are already, let's say, working with. We are looking for more pharma companies to provide more use cases that we can then together demonstrate the added value of these personalized formulations. Thank you. And also some more partners that can help us navigate the clinical landscape. Digital solution providers for the well, models and developing algorithms for decision making, and finally regulatory and HTE bodies. Thank you very much for your attention. If this sparked your interest, please find me. I'm happy to discuss.
Thank you. Thank you. And next up we have Krista Staskovits from Tartu Applied Health Sciences University.
Hello.
You may need to pull the microphones down just a little bit, just so that.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you.
I thought of myself as a tall person, but okay. Hello, my name is Krista Staskovits, and I'm representing Tartu Applied Health Sciences University, and more specifically our primary care research group, which is led by Professor Sirje Sammul, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, so you have to do with me. I am not a researcher nor a developer. I'm a coordinator, but also a person, a middle-aged woman with hypertension. So this particular plan of ours is really close to my personal feelings as well. So our plan is a digital integrated platform for patient management in primary care. And the reason for that is that among other chronic conditions, hypertension and type 2 diabetes affect millions of people. And even though we have advanced treatment options and developing medicines, the side effects and complications are still there and they're not going anywhere. It's not because of lack of research or lack of options, but mostly it is because the systems do not talk to each other, care providers do not talk to the patients, patients do not talk to their primary physicians, and so on. Data is fragmentary and other reasons. So we try to find a solution for that, and not only to integrate this patient management system to primary care workflows, but also to include patient empowerment tools for primary care workers. It means not only for medical doctors, but also nurses and probably other specialists who are in the close contact with the patients. And by simplifying those workflows and reducing workload, promoting continuous care and lifestyle change in patients, they will be empowered and more motivated to take control of their conditions, which will, in the end, result in more cost-efficient healthcare system. To do that, to connect people, data, and the solutions, we need cross-sectoral and multidimensional cooperation. We need industry partners, not only for technology solutions, but also for scalability and to move and implement these in other countries than Estonia. We are starting small, but aim larger. And we also need collaboration between private and public partners, meaning not only academia, but also healthcare practitioners, associations, patient associations, and so on, and also, of course, regulators and policymakers. When we can connect the data and the people, like it was said during the panel earlier, this is the only way that we can really have lasting and impactful solutions. So, we have clinical expertise, especially in primary healthcare provider networks. We also have patient empowerment and education expertise. We have the platform, which is modular and can be updated to different options. And we are looking for industry partners and, of course, policy and regulative experts, but also patient and primary care networks in other European countries. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Christian. You can go off the stage that side. Almost coming to the end of the pitches now, but we still have Alison Wolfries from UCB.
Crikey. It's like the lights are incredibly bright.
I know. You should be able to see your screen down there as well. You may also need to just adjust the microphone to your height. Just okay. There you go, perfect.
Is that better? Can people hear me okay? Okay.
There we go.
Right, okay, so I want to talk to you today about Project ISIS, which is Innovation Solutions to Inform Study Inclusion of Pregnant Women. And I do know the term ISIS can sometimes have negative connotations, but she was the mother goddess in historical mythology, so she feels very appropriate nonetheless. So we believe that we fit under the IHI Objective 2, which is about integrating fragmented health research and innovation efforts together across various stakeholders. And the reason for this is that the inclusion of WOPBAR and pregnant women, WOPBAR is women of childbearing age, if anyone isn't aware, in clinical trials is going to increase in coming years. There's a lot of interest in industry and the health authorities alike not to exclude pregnant women from clinical research. There's a recent saying about not excluding women from research, but including women in clinical research, so that they actually become part of understanding if it's safe to give a novel drug to a pregnant lady. There's a new ICH guideline emerging, E21, which is about inclusion of pregnant women and lactating women in clinical trials. This will come out in the next couple of years and will likely change the landscape. But the issue is the amount of data, the study types, the acceptability of the data packages to include pregnant women is not harmonised across the industry, it's not harmonised across the regulatory authorities, which leaves us in an uncertain situation when we're trying to drive this inclusion. There's a lack of clarity on building evidence-based risk assessments. It's unlikely one study is going to answer everything. And there is increasing pressure on reducing the use of animals, which means the studies that we do are going to change and there'll be increasing reliance on NAMs. So how do we see the solution to this? Well, really, a public-private partnership to create the decision framework is really the only way to go, so that we can look at the appropriate use of existing and imminent in vivo assays and NAMs to support that optimal risk-benefit analysis. To do that, we need to map the available and in development novel and current in vivo reproductive studies and NAMs. We're not looking at developing anything from scratch, but rather bringing along things that are ready to use or nearly ready to use. And this will go across the board from in vitro, ex vivo, in silico, AI and machine learning. We then need to integrate and analyse all of that to identify the gaps and to improve the risk-benefit assessment. And this really needs collaboration between a broad spectrum of industry, CROs, academia, and regulatory authorities. We then obviously need, as the output, to share that data and expertise across all the stakeholders. So we believe this is suitable as an IHI project because no single sector contains all the relevant expertise, all the relevant experience across these different types of studies to enable the construction of that framework and the kind of decision tree that will come out of it. So the key contribution, certainly from industry, will be around access to their reprotox study data, sharing of their experience and expertise, really with the challenges around the data packages that they've produced. And then obviously we're hoping that through all of this we can generate a list of the available studies, define the strengths and weaknesses, share the learnings and expertise, and ultimately enable access to safer and more effective and equitable therapies for pregnant women. So UCB has committed in-kind operational contributions to this. We have established collaboration with EMA, and they are committed to being part of this project. Thank you. We are looking for an industrial partner to co-lead with UCB, additional partners from across the different sectors with the relevant expertise, and also expertise in computational modelling, data science, and regulatory authority experts. And finally, for further information or to express an interest in co-leading, this is my email up here. There is also Marie Teal, who is my collaborator at UCB. With 3 seconds over.
Yeah. Good timing. Thank you very much. And we are almost there for the final pitch of the day. I would like to welcome to the stage Henri Souchet of GE Healthcare, we're staying in the women's health area as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for staying this whole session. I'm here to talk about a specific care pathway around this project, which is the Embrace for endometriosis, for better recognition, access, and care enhancement. Endometriosis is a poorly understood disease. Basically, it's endometrial tissue that grows outside of the uterus, which becomes very painful and has a high impact on quality of life of the patient. It's very painful, and it may also affect the fertility. So it has a high societal cost because many people are affected, up to 10% of women of reproductive age. When looking at what is failing those women, because there are very long periods of delays and challenges to access adequate care, basically it starts with the root cause of the disease not being known. And the disease is very poorly known to the point that even having a diagnostic is already something important for the patients. And then the primary care physicians and the gynecologists hardly know the disease themselves. There is a very big delay in accessing a proper diagnostic, in getting information about the disease for the patient. The next stage for the patient is to get some imaging, and to make that analysis also requires a lot of technicity and from the practitioners, a lot of expertise. So this is also a hurdle to gain access to that care. And then there is escalation of the interventions. It's very invasive, it's painful, there is a long time of treatment, and therefore when you reach the surgical excision of lesions, it's really super invasive, and this could be improved. Adaptive physical therapies exist, but actually they happen on the very last resort, which is very, maybe there are better strategies to explore. So basically this project will be how can we reduce the impact of the disease by improving the timely access and accelerate the care. How would we do that? The foundation is to better understand the disease. This is really the foundation, so we are connected to physicians and basic science of the disease, research in basic science of the disease. Upon that, we will revisit the pathways. We will challenge the status quo about the pathways, looking at what can be improved for the patient early on. And early on means better understanding the signs of the disease, and that relies in pain, and it relies in interviews with the patient. So that's what you have on the top left here. It's a big package of work on getting access to that information from the patient. Imaging is currently needs improvement in the sense not only of the quality of the image, but access to the imaging, access to the specialists, and that can be also helped with some new technologies such as artificial intelligence-based image analysis. On top of that, we can reduce the invasiveness of the procedures. So we want to explore different technologies of maybe better planning of the interventions to reduce the invasiveness, also to predict the outcome of the interventions. This suits very well IHI objectives. It's a pre-competitive issue. The disease is poorly understood, and after long underinvestment in women's health care, there are a lot of heterogeneities in how this disease is taken care of in the EU. And IHI is clearly a good framework to industry and academic collaboration, and also patient representatives and healthcare systems. The outcomes, I think, are quite clear. We want to accelerate the care. We want to engage with scientific societies, patient associations, to change the recommendations with the innovative outcomes of the project that are present in the consortium. And I will finish with the expertise and resource that we have. We have a few technologies that are ready for market that need to be tested at larger scale. And we are looking for more industry partners, therapy, especially in terms of pain management, and more academic partners also, specialists of pain management, and patient organization, and people capable of helping us with regulation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Henri, and that was it for today. So thank you to all of you, both the people in the room and online, for staying with us and following all the pitches. You've been bombarded with a huge amount of information, so if you want to catch up and look at it at your leisure, just to remind you, all the presentations and the recordings will be published on the event platform and the IHI website. For the people online, you're free to go back away to your evening now, and you can join us online from 9 o'clock tomorrow, when we'll have a panel discussion on how to really put together a strong proposal. For the people in the room, I would invite you to join us for a bite to eat, so you can carry on networking over a glass of something, the tipple of your choice. It's well deserved. So thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye.